Negan Channel. I'm Andy O'Reilly. There's Dave Cackley, who immediately after the show on Friday is going to be taken to rehab for Tucker Carlson, who apparently is creeping back into his life once again.
What are you talking about?
Nothing.
Oh my God. I wasn't going to talk about any of this.
I know you weren't, but
no, you were talking about this is, and I will tell everybody what Tucker, this was years ago, was talking. I think it may have even been to former presidential candidate Andrew Yang, who was talking about
electric cars,
a universal
blah, blah,
basic. No, not okay. No, this is not blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
This is self-driving vehicles taking, when those become mainstream, that's the vast majority of high-paying jobs without a college degree are in the transportation industry. And when self-driving cars become mainstream, those jobs are gone.
Yes.
And they're not coming back, okay? And Tucker was like, we got to do something to stop and this is a conservative dude saying, we got to stop this progress. We got to stop that. We cannot allow this to happen. We cannot allow all these people to be out of work, which would be along the same lines of thinking you have. The problem that he doesn't see is you're not stopping it. It's not going to happen. So this is not somebody creeping back in. This is just me illustrating where you two are on the same wavelength. And I'm telling both of you, you're both not facing the reality of the situation, which is we're going to have to adjust to that. And that's where the idea of a universal basic income would come in. It's pretty simple.
Let's rewind to yesterday in our conversation about wages.
You said just pay people more money.
You can. And let me explain to you the benefits of a better wage for the average worker. Right?
Go ahead.
You ready?
I know, and I'm not going to disagree with anything you say here.
Okay, so
go ahead.
It's really no more difficult than this. In the short term, if you're a giant company and you start paying your workers a little bit better, and I'm not saying you got to fork over the mother load. Let's just make life a little bit more comfortable. Let's get people to the point where they're not working to exist, because that's happening and you're living it. Right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, no question. I don't think it's bad for me.
Stop.
Go ahead.
All right. You're living to exist. Now, if for your job, who you speak to how many hundreds of thousands a week, that should be compensated to a degree of what it's worth. That's worth some money, right? How much money is made on the advertisers who sponsor your work?
That's a good question.
So, you know what? I look back over my radio career. It was a 5-to-1 margin. So every dollar they paid me, around 30 grand, they were making 5 times that in order to justify my wage. Something for you to look into. So even if the biggest companies looked at their employee base and said, we need to pay folks more, and we give them enough of a compensation package to make life easier for them, it's going to sustain the workforce to a degree that you're no longer paying to train people every 6 weeks. It's going to bring a level of trust between the employer and the employee. You're going to see employee theft drop. You're going to see things like people trying to one-up their job benefit career thing by 25 cents from working one place 6 weeks, then going to another one, then going to another one, and going to another one. Stabilizing the workforce has to be a part of economic growth. And when you're only looking at the bottom line and how much can we make, and our workforce is disposable, and you know what, if you get too many points on the clock because you punched in 5 minutes late because your kid had to get taken to school today, and piss off, we don't need you anymore, that's disposable people. And people are going to respond to that in the working world as they are. And people stood around scratching their asses wondering why they can't get decent employees, even for starter jobs where they're supposed to learn good practices in work. They can't get them because everybody knows what they're going to be, and that's nothing more than a fish in a barrel, which, hey, who knows? Tomorrow, hey, we need to cut 15% of our help. What's my motivation to get out and work for that? So
all that is true.
If our companies were to just embrace the idea of putting their people a little further ahead in their idea of working toward a profit margin, in the short term, chances are they might not see the profitability. 2 or 3 years down the road, when they have everything stabilized, it's going to be a whole new ball game. And the problem is the short attention spans of the people who want the instant cash grab, i.e. Wall Street, don't have the patience to make that happen. So for everybody that's out there
100%.
panicking and living this idea that this universal basic income's coming along and we're all going to get
Oh,
$2,000 a month and live for nothing,
no,
dude,
dude.
you got to look at it at a little bit broader of a perspective. And this is not legislated wages. This is not me telling people go pay your people more. This is the business world that needs to take a good look at itself and realize what sustainability looks like and how to foster a future for themselves, because this hire and fire, it's going nowhere and it's not helping anybody. So that's the lesson here. It might not be quarter to quarter to quarter profitability for the first couple of years, but if you nurture that employee base, it's going to grow, and it's going to grow fast.
Okay, again, I don't disagree. This is where, and this is where people misunderstand me all the time. Not disagreeing with anything you're saying there. My point is, that's not what company. No, okay, it's not that. Just implement it. They're not going to do, especially at the corporate level, where you mentioned Wall Street, you mentioned investors. You lose investors, you lose money, you cut wages, or you're cutting people. That's just the bottom line. Is it fair to the worker? 100% is unfair to the worker. And part of this is people not knowing what their own value is. That's been my issue for a good portion of my career.
My entire life.
I found out early on that I was the most requested anchor, and I was making less than everybody else.
Yeah.
And I was the most requested. So that was, and that's on, but the thing is, that's not on my company. That's on me. That's on me. I can bitch about the company all I want.
Or
problem is, if you don't know, and because they're not going to pay you more. I mean, if you're going to stick around, if you're not going to, no. So my point is, figure out what your worth is. And again, when I'm saying this, I'm speaking to myself too, as much as I'm speaking to anybody else. You got to know what your worth is. And my dad, this is another thing my dad said, and he would be proud of you for what you did, starting your own business. It's what my dad did coming out of AA. Started his own business. Met a guy in AA, started a countertop business that just this past Sunday celebrated 51 years.
Your business.
51 years. Family business. Going strong for 51
Where's
years.
My
custom countertops. So,
butthole.
So, okay, his advice to me, which I did not take, is don't let somebody else be in charge of how much you make or whether or not you have a job.
There you go.
It ain't on these companies. It's on you. It's on you. You got to know what your worth is and act accordingly. These companies are going to do what these companies are going to do, especially at the high corporate level, especially when you got a lot of investors. It's bare bones. It's bottom line. And whatever your profit margin is this quarter, it's got to be bigger next quarter. So, okay, let's not get mired in that now.
Quarter.
Whatever that margin is, again, it's got to go up or investors are going to go. So that's where they're at. So you can talk all you want about that. And again, not disagreeing, that's just not going to happen.
You're a fan of the
NFL. It's not. Huge fan, yes.
Huge fan. What does the NFL do to its top players?
They're paid at a high level.
So maybe if the company you work for or worked for or whatever were to have looked at you and said, hey, he's the top requested anchor, maybe we ought to do a little something for him.
But those guys know what their worth is. See, that's, again, this is on me. I've got to be more proactive when it comes to my own financial situation.
Okay.
Knowing what I'm worth. But that's my problem has been my problem has been my wiring. And I think you've similarly been in a, I don't think either one of us are necessarily,
I'm worse than you.
I don't think either one of us are as motivated by money as a lot of other people. Like how much I'm paid doesn't impact how hard I work at any job. Again, I have 3.
Yep.
I get my problem is I get really comfortable and I'm not financially motivated really. And I'm not overly ambitious. I do a good job. I do my job. I do it very well. And then I do other things. Okay, I'm not as focused on it as much as I probably should be for my own financial self-interest. Okay, again, that's not on me. That's not on these companies. And going back to the universal basic income thing, that's going to have to be a reality at some point, because that's what's going on in Alaska, even as we speak. They're doing it that way. They're already so once AI, you gave me, this is all off-air stuff. You gave me the little tinfoil hat thing when I was talking about AI. These jobs are going. You can laugh. These jobs are going away, and they're not coming back.
Okay.
If you can do it with artificial intelligence, and you don't have to pay, that's the way it's going to go. We can bitch about it. We can complain about it, and it's not fair at all. But it is where this train is going, and we're not stopping as much as we want to be, as much as you want to stop it, as much as Tucker Carlson wants to stop it, as much as I want to stop it. It's not going to stop.
Well,
so we have to adjust
from an intellectual point of view that AI is a repeater. It is, in fact, you know what? I know you hate Noam Chomsky, but Noam pointed out the fact that AI is really nothing more than plagiarism. It grabs from other places, and
yeah, it does.
Yeah, so
you can get AI to write an entire New York Times article in a New York Times style, and you know who you don't have to use to do it? A New York Times writer.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
You want to take all that human influence out of that.
I don't say I want to.
I know
but this is what's going to happen.
But
diagnosticians' jobs are going to be gone. These are high-level medical. We're not just talking blue. You laugh. You said, "Oh, Dave, that's not." It's going to happen. Okay. Now, it may be further down the road than I'm saying, and maybe it will be. Maybe we can push it. Maybe, and I think maybe it even has to be that way to get people used to it, because if it happens drastically,
the human element cannot be taken out of things.
It won't be completely taken out, but it's going to be taken out to an extent you probably, and I probably, don't want to admit to.
Okay.
But that's the direction we're going. Anyway, first story.
That's where the hat comes in, and that's where I'm not wearing the tinfoil hat.
Well, I'm not wearing the tinfoil hat either.
But it kind of
I'm just telling you.
Okay.
No, I just gave you why this is happening.
Okay.
And I don't think it's a good thing, but that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe this will allow people to do other things. Maybe. Or maybe we'll just all become lazy and stupid, or dumber, or stupider, whatever. Hey, speaking of job loss, more layoffs hitting the fledgling newspaper industry. The Los Angeles Times cutting more than 100 employees. That represents 20% of its staff. The layoffs began on Tuesday. It represents one of the largest staff cuts in the 143 years of the LA Times. One of the flagship newspapers this country. You had the LA Times, you got the New York Times, and you got the Washington Post. I mean, now these newspapers aren't what they used to be, let's be honest. And a lot of this isn't the employees' fault. Some of it is. Some of them don't act like journalists, but that's kind of where the industry goes. And it's unfortunate. It's sad. And I feel bad for these people. But again, look at it as an opportunity. Do your own thing. Start your own outlet. There are several avenues to get it out there.
You know, my favorite
several avenues.
What's that? I've clicked on a couple of MLive articles over the last couple of days. Just, I don't care because there's nothing there really. But all right, what do they have to say this time? Not only is the paywall there for MLive, like I'm going to pay for that. When I click on it now too, I also get a threat secured antivirus message from MLive. Great.
Well, again,
your antivirus software comes up from the local news.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not paying for that.
Yeah, no,
I'm not. Yeah, again, not going to happen. Okay, now we're not talking election stuff with regard to who's going to win. I'm not going to tell anybody who to vote for. We don't do that. I told you I'm a conscientious objector to this entire process. If you want to vote, go ahead and do it. I'm not wearing any I voted stickers because I'm not participating, but I will only address it from this standpoint because the odds are out. So if you want to invest in a particular candidate, this is what you got. This is what Vegas is saying. Donald Trump is leading at plus 110. That means if you bet $100 and Donald Trump wins the election, you win $110. Joe Biden's at plus 205. So you're getting 2-to-1 on your money. Biden probably the better investment as far as that goes. The dark horse candidate, Michelle Obama, is at plus 2,000.
Whoa.
So you want to throw down $100 right now because you don't know because where Joe's going. I heard a comedian because it's coming down. A lot of people, it's probably coming down to Trump or Biden. And I can't remember who the comic was who made the joke, but we're either going to be led by Trump from prison or Biden from a nursing home. Either one of those things is probably the likely outcome. But Michelle Obama at plus 2,000, I think, is the best investment. I'm not telling anybody to vote for her. Okay. Again, I'm not voting in this thing. But if you want to put down an investment that could pay big dividends, that might be something to think about. A couple of other notables. Nikki Haley's at plus 2,500. She's the vice president. That's nonsensical bet. Kamala Harris plus 9,400. No shot there. RFK Jr. at 2,800. He's an independent candidate. He's got no chance. Gavin Newsom at plus 2,000. Now he may be the Antichrist. I'm not sure, but if Biden drops out, Newsom's got a shot, even though he's pretty much destroyed California. And Elizabeth Warren plus 18,900 if you want to completely light your money on fire. No shot there. But again, I told you to invest on the Lions this past weekend. Bet the house, bet the kids' education. You're welcome on that.
There you go.
I'm not saying she's going to win. I'm just saying you want a long shot investment opportunity. Michelle Obama might be your horse.
Only
in this
thing
race.
is that Michelle Obama hates politics. And to get her past that.
But I don't know how much these people love. You know what? They may hate politics, but they love power. They love power.
I don't know that she's that attached to it.
Oh God, come on. All these people are. That's why your hat's in the ring. That's why you
That's
marry
why her hat's
Barack.
not in the ring.
No, but that's why
Michelle Obama can go out and be powerful on her own. She doesn't need to.
She can, yeah. She can. And there's some like people like you less when you run.
Yeah.
They like you less. At least half the country is going to not like you.
I get it.
So we shall see. Just mental note made.
All right.
Finally, if you're looking for work in the spring, enjoy the outdoors, the Michigan Department of Natural Resources is hiring. The agency looking to fill temporary positions all across the state, mowing, landscaping, planting trees, facility maintenance. Among the work available, applications due by February 5th.
Bugs, sunburn.
There you go. Well, hey,
and you know what? I have a sidebar to this because yesterday I was being neighborly, and I took my big, large, massive, huge John Deere out, and I was plowing out some driveways. And the scraper goes by, and they kind of shut your driveway off at the end. I thought, I'll go take care of everybody's end of the driveway. So as I was doing such, I found the pleasures of clearing out one neighbor's driveway and scraping up fresh dog shit at the same time. I was plowing his snow off the road. So whatever kennel ration or Alpo or whatever the hell their dog's eating, it was kind of a tannish color, and it really made a really nice streak through the snow as I didn't know it was there, and we had a nice brushing of dog shit on my plow.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's always, no good deed goes unpunished.
I'm here to tell you,
there you go.
After seeing that, I think I'm ready for a job with the DNR.
Why not? You got the experience.
That's right.
It's good for you. Good outdoor, fresh air, all that good stuff.
Right.
Michigan falls to number 2. Purdue they get pounded on the road, 99-77. They fall to 7-12. That's sports.
You know what's nice about Purdue beating Michigan?
What's that?
Purdue also graduated a ton of astronauts, which is another important thing because Michigan State has not.
Yay, because we need more moon rocks. More moon rocks. Let's get more moon rocks. That's going to help us all have more moon rocks.
That's right. AI is going to get us to the moon, nothing else. Famous last words for 1,000. Are you ready?
How do you enjoy living in the state of denial?
A lot better than Fantasy Island, I can tell you that.
Oh yeah, because it's a
lot better than Haunted Fantasy Island like you live in.
It's a complete fantasy, right?
Did you get the category?
No, I didn't. I was too busy.
It's because you're again Haunted Fantasy Island.
What was it?
Famous last words.
Famous last words. Let's do it.
This two-word phrase for a farewell performance is derived from the belief that a certain bird makes music as it dies.
That would be swan song.
Look at you. 47,400 in the hole. How did you get that one, Dave? Take us through that win.
Not bad for an alleged tinfoil hat crazy person.
Well, I'm telling you, it really was remarkable. It was great.
Seize the future.
Head back into the woods and keep living the dream.
I got to grow my beard out.
Would you?
See ya!
Happy Wednesday, Muskegon. We have rain and warmer temperatures on the way as the pattern changes across the U.S. So let's take a look at your forecast, brought to you by Trinity Health. Your weather headlines show we do have a few days of rain and also some foggy weather, as the snow and warmer air will help to create some fog, especially on Wednesday morning, and that will also result in snow melting across the region, which could cause some flooding issues. It will be above freezing at least for the next several days, if not for the rest of January. So here's what the fog will look like Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. You can see most of West Michigan is seeing dense fog with visibilities less than half a mile. So it's possible schools could delay on Wednesday due to the fog. But then once the fog moves out during the late morning hours, we'll start to have some rain showers move into West Michigan, likely in the afternoon, and those will continue into the early evening hours before a little bit of a lull arrives until we have more rain showers arriving on Thursday. So for your Wednesday, expect a warmer temperature of 37 degrees. We'll also have rain showers, especially in the afternoon hours, most likely around 1 to 3 p.m. And then it will be foggy to start the day as well, with possible school delays. And then overnight, we'll have rain continuing, especially earlier in the evening, with a low of 32. But we're not expecting any freezing rain out of that. And then by Thursday, we'll have a little bit of a break, especially Thursday morning and most of Thursday afternoon, until a second round of rain moves in, and this one will likely be a lot heavier, bringing maybe upwards of 3/4 of an inch of rain, especially just to the east of Muskegon, and that could also help to generate some flooding concerns across West Michigan. So for Wednesday, we'll likely see 1/4 of an inch of rain, and then Thursday, especially late Thursday going into Thursday night, we'll have a heavier round of rain going into that time period, lasting into Friday morning, but then that should be it with the rain and the fog, but after that will likely just stay dry and mostly cloudy, with temperatures generally in the mid to upper 30s. And that is your Wednesday forecast, brought to you by Trinity Health on the Muskegon channel, and I'm Cole Woods Weather. Have a great day today.